Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has decided to put pen to paper again. We all know how much he loves to write a letter, so he has deemed it necessary to write to Malam Buhari yet again. So guys, I bring you this. Obasanjo writes Buhari, says Nigeria reaching tipping point. So that's the headline. Obasanjo writes Buhari, says Nigeria reaching tipping point. So now to the body of the story. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Monday wrote an open letter to President Muhammadu Buhari saying Nigeria is on the precipice and dangerously reaching a tipping point where it may no longer be possible to hold danger at bay. Obasanjo, in the letter released by his media aide Kehinde Akinyemi, said he intended to use the open letter to address weighty matters. In the letter to Buhari, Obasanjo said, "I am constrained to write to you this open letter. I decided to make it an open letter because the issue is very weighty and must be greatly worrisome to all concerned Nigerians, and that means all right-thinking Nigerians and those resident in Nigeria." Addressing the issue of security, Obasanjo said, "The issue I am addressing here is very serious. It is the issue of life and death for all of us and for our dear country Nigeria. This issue can no longer be ignored, treated with nonchalance and swept under the carpet or treated with curdling gloves. The issue is hitting at the foundation of our existence as Nigerians and fast eroding the root of our Nigerian community. I am very much worried and afraid that we are on the precipice and dangerously reaching a tipping point where it may no longer be possible to hold danger at bay." The former president revealed that he was worried about the state of insecurity in the country, having fought in the Nigerian Biafra war and also having a son who is fighting Boko Haram. He said, "When people are desperate and feel that they cannot have confidence in the ability of the government to provide security for their lives and properties, they will take recourse to anything and everything that can guarantee their security individually and collectively. For over 10 years, for 4 of which you have been the captain of the ship, Boko Haram has menacingly ravaged the land, and in spite of government's claim of victory over Boko Haram, the potency and the activities of Boko Haram, where they are active, remain undiminished, putting lie to the government's claim." Obasanjo waved aside the recent explanation of Major General Tuka Buratai, who said victory over Boko Haram had not been achieved as a result of lack of commitment and motivation on the part of the troops. He said the recent explanation of the Chief of Army Staff for the non-victory over due to rather lack of commitment and lack of motivation on the part of the troops bordering on sabotage speaks for itself. Say what you will, Boko Haram is still a daily issue of insecurity for those who are victimized, killed, maimed, kidnapped, raped, sold into slavery and forced into marriage, and for children forcibly recruited into carrying bombs on them to detonate amongst crowds of people to cause maximum destruction and damage. So this is what Obasanjo has felt the need to say to these people that look, the state of this goings on is just not something that can continue, because people will resort to self-help in terms of their own security when they have reached that point where they feel that the government can no longer secure them, and that point has pretty much been reached. That point was reached last week, last year, last month. It was reached a long time ago. People are now at the point now where they have no confidence at all in the security structures of the country, because the security structures of the country, of course, is not there to serve the people. I mean, look at all the tens of billions that they allocate to security every single year, and the security situation in the country worsens rather than gets better. The country is under policed. Everybody has been saying this. We have 360,000 policemen in Nigeria for a population of 200 million. That's not even enough for Lagos State, never mind for the whole of the country. And we need a minimum rather of 1.5 million policemen in that country. The army needs to be doubled, their salary needs to be doubled, and the monies that they are taking for equipment actually needs to be spent on equipment, because some of the complaints that you are getting from the army is that they are under-equipped and they are not equipped to fight Boko Haram. A lot of them are saying Boko Haram is better armed than they are. So if the insurgents are better armed than the state army, then that really is a big question mark right there. So now this is what Obasanjo is saying, but of course, you know, abuse is the answer that you will get from Malam Buhari and his apologies. I know, I'm sure Femi Adesina will be quick in the paper. He say, yes, in your time, what did you do? You know the way he speaks like a didn't he will come and do that, and Garba Shehu with his funny heart, he say, we respect the general. I know this nonsense that they do, but meanwhile, the following day, Boko Haram will seize another locality, and the Fulani headsmen will ravage another town in the southwestern parts of Nigeria. So now the security of the country has completely now collapsed. So it's not getting to the point that people have to resort to self-help, because I think even Danjuma said this in the Middle Belt at that time when the Boko Haram were seizing control. When well, I say Boko Haram, Fulani headsmen, but then they are both the same. So when these people were seizing control of all of the Middle Belt, because they've now conquered the Middle Belt, because they've sacked all these people from their communities, and all these people are in IDP camps now, and it's now these Fulani headsmen that now hold the communities that belonged to these Middle Beltans. So they are now moving further south to come into Yoruba land and Igbo land. So this is the goings on. So now this is now at that point where the people that have ruled and led this country and now say, look, it's now getting to the point that people will resort to self-help. And this open letter is also a signal to the Nigerian people that, look, this government is not capable of taking care of you, so your destiny really is in your own hands. It's up to you. What is enough for the wise and all that is effectively what Obasanjo is saying to the Nigerian population. But then what response we will get? We will get abuse from Buhari and his apologists, and then that will be the end of it. So now, following on from the Obasanjo call to Buhari to do something about the state of insecurity in the nation, the Buhari team, in the name of Meyetti Allah, have now responded to Obasanjo. So obviously the Meyetti Allahs are cousins and brothers of Buhari, and they ride rather shotgun for him. So here they are riding shotgun for him again. So guys, I bring you this. Meyetti Allah calls for Obasanjo's arrest. So this is now what they are calling for, that for him having the temerity to say that the state of insecurity in the country can no longer carry on rather as it is. They are now calling for his arrest. So again, the headline, Meyetti Allah calls for Obasanjo's arrest. So now to the body of the story. Fulani Socio-Cultural Organization Meyetti Allah Kwatal Haro has called for the arrest of former President Olusegun Obasanjo over the latter's recent open letter to President Muhammadu Buhari. Obasanjo had written an open letter to the president on the prevalence of insecurity in the country, calling for a national dialogue where the Fulanis and other ethnic groups can be open about their grievances that have led to the insecurity in the country. The National Secretary of Meyetti Allah, Al-Hassan Saleh, in an interview on Monday, called on the President Buhari-led federal government to, as a matter of urgency, arrest Obasanjo for accusing Fulani headsmen of being the root cause of insecurity in the country. Salah said, the fact that there is insecurity, I don't think the Fulanis are responsible for it. The narrative that we are responsible for insecurity is even the problem we have with the Nigerian state. When any crime happens, even before there's an investigation, people rush to the press and start accusing Fulani herdsmen. Herdsmen are supposed to be carrying herds of cattle, but if somebody is a criminal or an armed robber, he should be treated as such. But if Obasanjo in particular, having ruled this country for so many years and with his network of security contacts both locally and internationally, has information, I think he can volunteer it. Salah advised the federal government to take decisive action against all elements and their sponsors causing instability in the country, adding that Obasanjo may want to destabilize the government. The earlier they get him, that is Obasanjo, arrested and dealt with according to the law of the land, the better. He doesn't mean well for the country, he said. We just elected a new government. We have a National Assembly that was just inaugurated. Nobody needs any conference except they are pushing for somebody else. The unfortunate thing is that intellectuals like Wole Soyinka are also joining the bandwagon of these discredited politicians. But our worry is that they seem to associate every crime that happens now to the Fulanis simply because the president is a Fulani man. We are just waiting and watching carefully because we are not demanding too much from the Nigerian state. All we are saying is give us space to graze our animals. That is not difficult. So now this is now the response to Obasanjo's position by this Aboki Central, by the Aboki heartbeat. You know, of course, that Malam Buhari is the life patron of the Fulani herdsmen, not just in Nigeria, but the whole of West Africa. And that really speaks to the heart of the problem that we're having now, because his loyalty is to the Fulanis in the whole of West Africa, and the Fulanis in West Africa transverses Burkina Faso, Mali, etc. They're spread there, Niger, they're all over. So his presidency is to that community. So he's not then going to lock the borders of Nigeria against his own people. So these people that now are having open season to come into Nigeria at will, unchallenged. And of course, you know that places like Mali, Burkina Faso, they're like war zones. So these people have a lot of weapons and they are rolling those weapons into the Nigerian state. And of course, it is this imported Fulanis from Burkina Faso, etc., that Malam Buhari wants to build Ruga for in Yoruba land and Igbo land, because the Fulanis that we already have in Nigeria, we've had them for 60 years and they've always had their homes. So they don't need homes built by anybody. They already have they're already settled. So it has to be now new people that he wants to resettle, that he is intending to build these Rugas for. So the imported Fulanis from Burkina Faso, Mali, etc., and Niger Republic and all these kind of places, they want to bring them into Yoruba and Igbo land to change the demography of our own homestead. So this is really the goings on. Conversations in the comment section is what I am inviting. Come, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section, what Obasanjo said and how the Malamis countered him. So this is all what is in discussion in the comment section. But before you come join me in the comment section to have this conversation, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you're thinking in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, join you in the comment section. But here I say peace.